Alright guys, we think you are going to absolutely love this episode. We tackle a massive hike at Carnarvon Gorge, Fossicking for sapphires and Ruby Vale.
And we check out the natural history at Winton at the age of dinosaurs.
We also catch something that we have been chasing for a very long time.
Oh,
an absolute monster.
We left you last week, just east of Charleville, at the Free Rock Pool Camp. As we pushed northwest, we made a quick overnight stop at the Neil Turner Weir by a little town called Mitchell. The next morning we had an early start, heading into Roma to stock up and make the run to Carnarvon Gorge National Park.
Ready to go?
Ready to go. Eric, are you on radio? Alright, bring it back. You're about 5 meters from the pole, so you're going to have to start turning pretty much as soon as you can.
We arrived in Carnarvon Gorge National Park later in the day, with only a few hours of daylight left and Molly working very hard to keep her camera stable. We ticked off the Mickey Creek hike before heading back to camp to get ready for the big hike the next day.
Eric just got in the shower and then everything went dark.
But the first thing you want to do is make sure that there's not continuous short occurring within your system. And for this one in particular, we've got a whole lot of power distribution going on. And you can see we've set this one up so it's got a nice little red light, so it shows you what fuse is blown, and this is a 10 amp fuse. You can see it's blown there. Basically anything that runs off that control panel will not be having a power to trigger that system. And the reason that is because I actually upgraded the 12 volt charger with a USB-C output, and we're charging the Mac, so it's drawn too much current and blowing the fuse. Well, that's the theory anyway. Not as simple as putting in a bigger fuse. When you isolate the source of the problem, we think it's that, and then replace the fuse. The reason it's not as simple as just putting in a bigger fuse is because the fuse is there to protect the wiring, right? So we put a bigger fuse in, that doesn't blow. It's going to be the wiring that blows apart and potentially shorts somewhere that you can't control it, and then you've got a whole risk of fire and electrocution, etc., etc. As you saw there, color coded, right? So we had 10 amp fuse blow and replace it with a 10 amp fuse. Just place in there, push it in. Cool. I'm going to come back up to our system over here. Cool. Everything else has power. Job done.
Handyman.
We started the main hike at the information centre relatively early the next morning with one objective: do everything we possibly could in one go. The Moss Gardens, Amphitheatre, Art Gallery, Big Bend, Cathedral Cave and Balloomba Bluff. Somehow, we had worked out that this would be just over 20 kilometres. The website has a pro tip listed. Do the full hike to Big Bend, and then all of the side quests on the way back. The hike itself is stunning. After a few kilometres through cycad and eucalypt forest, the gorge itself begins to take place. The towering sandstone cliffs, piercing through the canopy, are truly something that just cannot be captured on camera. The amphitheatre was like nothing we had ever seen before. It's just so hard to believe that this incredible chamber was carved naturally by water over millions of years. After squeezing through a narrow crack in the cliff, the cave suddenly opens up to an enormous circular space, with a natural skylight towering above. Having ticked off almost all points of interest, at 26 kilometres, we had one left, Balloomba Bluff. At only 500 metres in, we were met with this. As the sun was quickly falling, we thought, we've come this far, let's do it. And it's safe to say, it was absolutely worth the final push. Guess that makes us physically fit. So, we have been going for nearly 9 hours now. We started early, and I actually don't know what the time is now.
It is 20 to 6.
There we go. So, okay, maybe didn't start super early, but we have done 32 kilometres. We've still got a couple of k's to go, and it is well past sunset and getting dark. Exciting. Where are we off to, Molly?
We're going to go check our Yabby pots for some red claw.
I bloody hope there's some there. We came last night and I think we only got 2.
Yeah.
In one pot, and then nothing else for the rest of the night. They're only there for a couple of hours, so we'll see how we go.
Yeah, granted we've got pyramid pots, so if there were any in there last night, they've probably climbed out, but worth a check anyway.
Stop messing around, let's get down there. Just done a little clothesline upgrade. Actually saw it on the Vision RV Facebook page. That we can just put little saddles across. It's a great idea. Nothing crazy, but we're just pop riveting on some saddles so we can run just some line in between it as a bit of a very quick clothesline.
We've just checked out of the Big Four, and now we've just come back to the dam to get our pots out of the water. Fingers crossed there's a couple of red claw in there.
We moved.
That's right, we did move them yesterday afternoon, and we checked them out 3 times and didn't get anything in that new spot. So this morning we've moved them back where they were yesterday morning, where we got, I think, 8 in total. So fingers crossed there's a couple more in there before we have to pick them up and leave.
The red claw at Fairburn Dam are actually invasive. So much so that it's illegal to put them back in the water at any size. We only caught a few angry guys like this during our 2 days here.
Can't tell me that's not a very pissed off crayfish.
Sorry, mate.
That was a fish.
Apparently with a boat, you have a lot more luck. But for us, the monster red claw we were chasing continued to evade us. It was time to fill up and push out to Ruby Vale to meet up with family.
Petrol is 167.02 litres.
Yeah.
And that was at $2.16. We just got fuel at BP Emerald. Last time we filled up with fuel at BP Emerald, we put the wrong fuel in the car. Thankfully it was, well, not the 62, it was GU. But yeah, that was a whole day evolution, and it was a public holiday on the Monday, so nowhere was. That's right, yeah. So nowhere was open, so it was this whole big debacle.
It was a massive, massive saga.
This morning we left Big Four caravan park on Fairburn Dam. We only caught like 8 red claw in total, but that's alright. Better luck next time, hey? And then we drove into Emerald, washed the car after our little muddy episode. So she's looking very shiny. And now we've just arrived at Ruby Vale. We're just waiting for Leonie and Lee. We're finally meeting up with them today. I think they're about another hour away. But yeah, this is our camp we get to set up, but it's quite pretty in its own way, really. Not gonna lie, we actually haven't seen any signs or anything to say that this is actually a camp, but Leon has convinced us. They've camped here many times before, so we're gonna stick with it. But they've had locals come and speak to them and direct them on where to go, so we're putting our trust in them, and hopefully we don't get told off, but I'm sure it's fine. They're professionals, really. Firstly, look at that stunning sunset. Secondly, we can hear Leonie and Lee. They're probably just over there somewhere coming up the road. Let's go meet them. Here they come.
We set out the next morning in the Fossicking common where we had camped. We quickly realised it's not all sunshine and rainbows. With no real knowledge of where to dig, we started poking around. With no sapphires in hand, we decided with our limited time we had, we should go and have a proper look through town and see what the locals recommend.
This is the Fossicking Common in Ruby Vale, and you can see some people just go to enormous lengths. That is hard ground. If I just put you up there, you can see all of the mounds. Gemstones, eh? Been driving people crazy for thousands of years.
It's such a beautiful day. I feel like it's going to be wasted sitting in the car, but not a cloud in the sky. Anyway, I'm just going to check the campsite and then off we go.
We just packed up for an early morning start. We spent the night just south of Barcaldine, and we're gonna shoot north back through Barcaldine, pick up some fuel, pick up some water, and our way through to Winton. We are going to see the dinosaurs. I have this really frustrating thing going on with the driver's side window. It does this right when you don't need it to do it. That's not me. Very, very, very frustrating, and it always happens right when it's pouring down rain or you just want the sun out of your eyes.
We've just stopped at Barcaldine Showgrounds to fill up the tanks. We only had like 3/4 left in one tank after a couple of days, but we've done some washing and all that sort of thing, so fill up when we can. There's a bit of a process to it. Eric's the man for the job. What do you do?
So we've got 3 main tanks on the van. We've got the 100 litre in each, tank 1, tank 2, tank 3, and they're basically named from the front or the back, and then we've got a waste tank as well. But when we're filling up with water, it's as simple as finding a clean drinking water or potable water connection. If we come around, so with the Vision vans, as you can see, we've just connected up a little breather here. It's just one that I made, it's just a normal garden hose connection, and this is the input. I've also got a best water filter connection, which is essentially nano silver and charcoal filter. Basically stop removing any contaminants and particulates in the water. And then in the front here, and this is the same for all Vision campers, is our water manifold. So we've got your fill manifold, which is the import line that we just connected. Tanks 1, 2, 3, pump and mains. And what that means is we can isolate all our tanks and all of our pump and our pump, and basically supply all of the taps in the van with just the import, the fill from the fill point. So that'd be good for caravan parks, or if we had like an external pump. But then otherwise we just isolate these two. And I've just actually turned this on because Molly was making coffee. Other than that, you can just isolate these and then fill through to, right now we're filling tank 3, and this is the last one. And I'll take you back around over there. You can see him fill it up. You can see just here, we're at tank 1 and we're just over half full, and we're waiting for that needle just to get to the full mark. We'll let it sit for a couple of minutes, just make sure it's all sitting fine, and then I'll fill all of them, just do a final fill because we're heading out to Winton today and there's not much water out there, and then we'll go from there. We'll be good to go.
One little tool that we did buy before we started our travels a couple of years ago was just a simple hose connection.
And you can get the ones from Bunnings that are double brass connections, and they basically have got the 2 size fittings in each one, and we use it at just about every fill point, as well as the tap key, because there's a lot of them, and we'll show you that in a second. And yeah, as well as the tap key, basically you can just turn it off and on, and it's got all the different connections for all the different anti-tamper taps.
Yeah, I think we've only been to like 2 water points where we've been able to connect the hose straight up, so that's been an excellent couple of dollars spent from Bunnings to be able to fill up with water.
So this is just the little tap key that got from Bunnings. It's bugger all, but it's just one of those anti-tamper ones. A lot of the fill points actually have the actual key removed, which is just these normal ones, and they're removed so that they can't just be turned on by kids or whatever and then waste all the water. Anti-tamper key.
Looks like he's got little slippers on.
Something we routinely do when arriving in most of these outback towns is visit the information centre. Intimate local knowledge of an area can completely change your experience and is often better informed and current than online forums and posts. The Walsing Matilda Centre in Winton did just that for us. We left with an armful of brochures, a plan for the next day, and a lovely little location for a free camp. In the last couple of decades, Winton and the surrounding region have been put on the map and have become quite the destination for dinosaur fanatics. The whole region was a lush forest near an inland sea millions of years ago, and was apparently perfect conditions for fossils to form. The Age of Dinosaurs Natural History Museum has been really well set up. They have guided tours through all of the exhibits, which must be individually booked. The Fossil Lab took us through the whole process of preserving and restoring, showing us real fossils which were being prepped at the time. But I have to say, the one that amazed me the most was the massive fossil of dinosaur footprints, which were actually relocated from Snake Creek, 80 kilometres away.
We're still camped up at Mistake Creek. This is our last morning here. We're packing up and we're heading west to Min Min, or on our way to the Bullia camel races. Just about to pick up some crayfish pots. It is absolutely bloody freezing. I cannot believe how cold it is. So just waiting for Mum. She's going to put some warm clothes on. I've got the diesel heater absolutely pumping. Molly's just washing her hair because we're going to fill up with water today. Oh, that's a friggin' red claw and a half.
Look at that! How do you feel about that?
That was ridiculous. That was the biggest crayfish. I actually think that's the biggest freshwater crayfish I've ever seen. Or it definitely is. So this is the bank that we just pulled up, and you can see the roots just down there. The edge of the pot got caught on us, so we daisy chained all the way down to the bank and I'm hanging off the edge. Absolutely stoked.
That sets the scene for today. I think we're gonna have a good day.
Yeah.
We've just got to the Winton sign. We've taken a few photos, but I think this is so cool and such like a good point for like a touristy, you know, photo or whatever. They've made it so you can bend down the eye, and so you can become the eye, which I think is such a cool idea. Look at that, you just put the, take the pin out, bend that down, and then you become the eye. I just think that's really, really cool.
Winton marked the end of this week's adventures. Next week we're going to the camel races, pushing into croc country and chasing barramundi.